I know I've said this before, but one of the only reality shows that I like to watch is Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. I've made a video about this already, but you know what? Here I am making another one. Today, I want to tell you how exactly I got into the show. Now, I hope you guys don't mind, but this review is going to have quite a lengthy story period to it, so hang in there. Or you can jump ship right now, I won't judge. Please don't do that though. Okay. So the very first episode that I saw of Kitchen Nightmares was actually Amy's Baking Company. So yeah, I mean, pretty much everyone has this experience, right? We all hear about the craziness that went on there, and we see all the memes, and hey, if you're me, you make a video about it years later, and then Amy's one of the first comments on your video. So, if you're watching this, hi Amy! Good to see you again. Anyways, when I was hearing about Amy's Baking Company, I thought to myself, no, that's impossible. There's no way that this is real. And guess what? It was. Oh wow, they were not kidding. And I enjoyed this episode so much that I decided to seek out others. Because this show has a lot of things that I really like. It has the food industry, it has local businesses, it has lives being turned around, and it has Gordon Ramsay. Admittedly though, I didn't know I liked Gordon Ramsay then because, honestly, I hadn't seen any Gordon Ramsay shows before this. I always knew who he was, yeah, and when I was little watching American Idol with my family, I'd always see commercials for Hell's Kitchen, but that was about it. So now I was finally ready to give the show a proper chance. Not just the Amy's Baking Company episode, because even though I hadn't seen any others at that point, I knew that one was kinda special. I mean, if it wasn't, how come it got this level of attention? So I decided to pick an episode completely at random. And luckily, that episode was what made me get officially attached to the show. That episode was Sal's Pizzeria / Mama Maria's. So, a little bit of explanation. This episode has everything, and I mean everything, that makes Kitchen Nightmares so good. It does also have the constant music and sound effects and the over-dramatization that the American version has, but you know what? I'm willing to overlook it because this episode was really something special. And it's one that I'm surprised not a lot more people talk about. So this restaurant in question was a family business, and the owner wanted to change absolutely nothing about it. This is because both of his parents had passed on and had left the restaurant in a specific condition. Even though everything in the restaurant was in dire need of updates, John, the now owner of the restaurant and son of the founders, didn't want any part of that because this is how his parents ran it. This is how they left it. Why not keep it going if it works? But the thing is, he was so blind by his fond memories of working at the restaurant and his rose-colored glasses that he really wasn't able to see that, no, it wasn't working. Despite being an owner, he kept acting like a chef. It was like he was a regular old employee. And of course, this is part of his arc, I guess if you will. Gordon's able to help him realize that he needs to move on. He'll always have his memories, but if he doesn't adapt, he won't have the business. And it leads to a very touching and emotional scene. And I think this is where not knowing anything about Gordon Ramsay really helped me out. See, I'd always hear that Gordon Ramsay was basically the Tasmanian devil, constantly angry and able to destroy anything in his path. I mean, that's what I'd seen on the commercials for Hell's Kitchen, so that had to be true. But Gordon doesn't really get angry at John in this episode, he more gets frustrated. Especially in one point in particular, which we'll come back to soon. But when Gordon was able to talk reasonably with John and say, hey, you gotta shape up here, I'm trying to help you, I know this hurts, but you can do it, we're all here for you. That really amazed me. I didn't know he was capable of that. Maybe it was because of that surprise, or maybe it was because John was so emotional, but that moment really got me. It made me feel massive feels. And I really wanted to see him turn things around. I could tell throughout the entire episode that this was his world. If he lost the restaurant, he would have absolutely nothing left. And it all comes to a boiling point here. So it's got that really nice emotion going for it, but it's got way more than that. It's got some crazy hijinks given the fact that John wants to act more like an employee rather than a manager or owner, and it's got some life-threatening situations. Yeah, there was a point in this episode where the dinner rush wasn't really going well. A vegetarian got some pork bones in her sauce, which that alone was bad, But a customer ended up eating a rancid lobster tail that made him go to the hospital. This moment was intense. Keep in mind, up to this point, the only episode I'd seen was Amy's Baking Company, which, yeah, had some crazy moments, but they were more crazy caused by moments like this.
You keep saying that. You've been saying that for an hour.
Look at him. He's like, where's my pizza?
Really?
Send him home.
Even though Amy and Sammy were yelling at the customers, and yeah, they did threaten them, you never felt like their lives were in danger. This guy, however, most certainly was. He basically just ingested poison. But did Gordon yell at John? Did he freak out and scream? No. He pulled him and his crew aside and explained the situation, saying that, yeah, there's a lot going wrong now and you can't fix the situation as it is right now, but you can fix it so it never happens in the future. And of course, it all culminates to a happy ending that every Kitchen Nightmares episode has. Except we all know what happens, right? Just like basically every other owner, they go back on Gordon Ramsay's wishes and then the restaurant goes under and... Wait, no, that's not the case. In fact, Sal's Pizzeria / Mama Maria's is still around today. You can go there right now while you're watching this video. But please, before you go there, please finish watching this first. Thanks. Once again, this shows John's dedication to his craft. He listened to Gordon, never straying from the path. Sure, maybe he went back on one or two things, but as a whole, he stayed true to his word and made sure that Gordon's changes stuck. I really commend John for that, putting aside his pride to make sure that his business stayed successful. And I also commend Gordon for his amazing handling of the situation. Gordon didn't really blow his lid here, and I kinda think that helps. Because if he screamed and yelled at John, I don't think he would have gotten the message. To be fair, John wasn't really the kind of guy who needed to be screamed at because he was a pretty good listener. He just had a hard time breaking his bad habits, which, you know what? Okay, that happens sometimes. But you can tell that he was trying. See, this proves my theory that Gordon Ramsay is basically the good version of Simon Cowell. They both can read a situation perfectly and expertly examine a person. While Gordon uses his ability for good and to help people, Simon Cowell uses it to destroy people's lives. But that's a topic for another day. Seeing this episode, I was hooked. I was hoping that all the rest of the episodes would be just like this. And while they weren't exactly like it, they all had some things in common and they were all very entertaining. Even the weakest episode still managed to put a smile on my face. If you haven't seen the episode, I highly recommend that you do. And hey, if it's been a while, go ahead and check it out. It's definitely worth the watch. I might be a little biased though, because this is the episode that made me love Kitchen Nightmares. Well folks, thanks for watching the video. Have you seen the episode? What'd you think of it? What was your favorite episode of Kitchen Nightmares? Comment below and let me know because I'm always excited to hear what you guys have to say. Real quick, I'd like to thank our Patreon executive producers, Jay, Leaf Razor, Reziel, and Sophie Burgers. If you too would like your name read at the end of every Media Mementos video, then consider donating to our Patreon, which has a link in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time!